Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be able to share some of your insight and wisdom that you've provided for us throughout the years. I pray a blessing on each of the people and the families that listen to this podcast, and let the truth of your word speak to them, Lord. And we thank you for your mercy and your grace, and we thank you through all of this through Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to Full Frame Prophets. Today I'm here with a very, very special guest, a friend of mine for several years now. It seems like just the other day we met, but it's probably been several years.
It's been 15 plus years.
Yeah, so this is Mr. Stacy Byrd. He is a well-renowned businessman in our community, and he works with the industry, and he's taught me a lot of stuff, both business and with family. I remember bringing Roman out to your house when you were doing sand to stone, and he caught his first fish at your pond. And
that hooks them when they're young and they get the real one in. But you got to keep kids; they have to keep catching fish. They can't catch one every 2 hours and stay interested.
Yeah, and I still have that. You remember we made the? Oh, I still have it.
I do too.
And I'm like, this is very useful. And I only know it's useful because of the exercise we had. But it's like a memory that day. So I really appreciate.
I still got mine hanging in the outdoor kitchen where I started braiding it. It just kind of stays there. It's a good conversation starter.
Oh yeah.
I had some friends of the family, was a younger guy at the time, early 20s, and they incorporated something like that when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the wedding ceremony was he and his wife braided one, and there was I guess two whatever colored ropes, and the other one was a white one representing the Holy Spirit. And they braided that together as part of their wedding instead of lighting candles.
Yeah.
All the cliche things.
They say a 3-string cord is not easily broken. Yeah, okay, I love that. So if you want to just tell us a little bit about you, like how you got started and.
Well, product of Westlake, born and raised all through 12 grades of school, and I've been a solid C student at everything that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So at school, if I studied real hard, I made C's. If I kind of sloughed off, I was still a C student. And when I took that mindset and started going to work, well, you're only going to work for people if you're a C student.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a whole lot of drive. There was nobody in my family that was business minded. Everybody was, you have to go to work for the man, and you have to stay in his good graces, take his paycheck, and then come home and live for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the generations of my family had always lived. So I started doing that. And then after I got into the business world a bit, working for a small business, because I guess larger businesses, you never really get to tap into who started it and why. You may get a 10-minute video of that at orientation, but you don't get to sit down with that guy. So I ended up going to work for a physician that was a really, really good physician. And he was good about trying to share what had got him there. And then obviously, I'm no physician. I'm a C student. I took remedial at McNeese for 2 semesters until I couldn't pass a remedial. Well, college is not for everyone.
I took it and then I just didn't schedule the class. And then my junior year I scheduled. They forgot that I didn't pass the remedial. So yeah, same boat.
So I just sat underneath this guy and kind of watched a lot of how he did business, how he tried to treat clients, type stuff. And it started making me understand that you can't maintain the C student attitude of I'm just going to go to work, spend as little time there as possible, get as much money as I can, and then just come home and kind of live off of this salary, if you would, and expect to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
You can live, and there's plenty of people doing amazing things if they don't have the drive to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are just scared to do it. Well, I'll fail. So go ahead.
Yeah. So at what point did you see, I've learned that they call that working open to goal, right? So you come to work and you're like, hey, this is my challenges I have today. I want to work till I get them solved. Like when, is that kind of how you were once it switched for you?
I didn't know there was a term for it, but yeah, because we always say is there's no night shift. You can't stop what you're doing at 4 or 5 p.m. and expect somebody else to come in on night shift and finish it. It's your issue. And you can aggressively handle it and get it behind you, or you can let it sit there and fester for months and years and never really complete it or see it be put to bed.
Yeah.
So it makes you decide, hey, I listen to a lot of podcasts on leadership and business building and all that. Craig Rochelle, I really like him.
Yeah.
And he said, if you address it accurately, meaning everybody says, oh, this is important. On a scale of 10, it's a 10. No, it's not. Be accurate on where it really falls. Is it important? Is it urgent? Or is it both? Because there are a lot of things that are very important. Staying current with our taxes is very important, but it's not urgent until April 14th.
Right.
But it's still important today, but I don't have to address it today. I've got time to make sure this is done correctly. There's some things that are very urgent, even though they're not incredibly important in the grand scheme of life or business, but some things can become really urgent. Address them, put them behind you, and then get back to the important things.
Yeah.
You can't let important things linger on until they become urgent, because then you won't address them correctly.
That's so good, because I feel like I'm guilty of that in a lot of things. Okay. And I feel like it's not even intentionally done. Like, oh, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this, or I know it needs to get done, but I don't really have the skill set to get it done, or I don't know who to ask to help me get it done.
Or I can't afford the guy who wants to do it.
Right. But so I'm using this person who it's in my budget, but every year I'm getting further and further behind the 8 ball. And I was like, how do we climb out? Can we combine 4 or 5 years together and try to get out of this thing? And it's like, and then you find out from the other guy, oh, dude, you probably didn't have to pay all this because I could have and then you'd have been good. And you're like, oh. Or if you'd have just bought this little piece of property right here, that could have zeroed you out.
Yeah, hindsight, man.
So
I equate that to if we're in a boat together and there's a bowling ball size hole in the boat and a golf ball size hole, we better address the bigger hole first. They're both important, but one's just a little more urgent.
Yes.
And too many times the easy one to address is the smaller hole. And we're going to leave that other one till tomorrow, which turns into next week, which turns into a sunken boat.
Yes.
Same thing in marriages.
Oh man.
We got some big issues, but we don't want to rock the boat and don't want to really address it. Let's touch on these little smaller issues. And we're doing really good on small issues that don't really matter, like rolling the toothpaste from which end and who gets to sleep on what side of the bed and whatever else. But we're ignoring some really big stuff, and we're just kind of sweeping it on the rug until it sinks the boat. Yeah,
being that me and my wife are both in our business together, it's very hard for us to see it. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye on different parts of the business, and we had to early on be like, okay, this is yours. And I'm going to submit to you on this part, and this is mine. And I'm going to you'll submit to me on this part. And then that was so tricky because we just had a conversation recently, and I was like, sometimes I feel like some of the struggles we have is just because I'm not where I need to be spiritually sometimes. You know how, at the first of the year, right? Every year we have 21 days. So I can notice a difference in my business health, my business finances, and everything during that time. And then as the summer comes, I notice a little lull, but I also have a spiritual lull. And I told her just recently, I said, look, I feel like the problem with our business is me not being totally 100% reliant on God 12 months a year. And it brought me to tears when I was telling her that, because I feel like it was a spiritual warfare that was happening to me and attacking my business. I don't know if that sounds crazy.
No,
but
I think everybody that has a certain level of spiritual awareness sees it the same way.
Yeah. Because
we're not always hitting home runs.
Yeah.
Business-wise, marriage-wise, raising kids-wise. I would like to think that I'm doing great at those things, and my goal is to do great at all of those. But again, I know I'm likely a C student at most of them.
Yeah. So it was very reassuring to be able to say that to her and just be honest about it. I feel like if I'm not in it, then it makes me rely more on me when I can't do anything. I can put all the inputs, but God has to do the increase.
So do you think God is more concerned about your spiritual health or your your finances.
Oh, spiritual.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because there are people who are broke and destitute that are really close to God. And there's some people who are loaded with money and also close to God.
Yeah.
I don't think the money is what adds or takes away from. But because we seem like in life we kind of have this either or. Would you rather this or that?
Yeah.
And so we tend to think, well, you can be, spiritually minded, or you can be really, really close to God. And if you get really, really close to God, you have to abandon finances or business or whatever else. And I equated a lot that where did the coin come from that Jesus paid taxes with? When the Pharisees asked him, hey, or they asked the disciple, they didn't want to talk straight to Jesus,
Right.
He had corrected them so many times. Does your master pay taxes to Caesar? And he's like, yeah. So he said, Peter, he said, go down to the shore and catch us a fish. He caught a fish, had a coin in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd the fish come from? Where'd the coin come from?
Mm-hmm.
So God is a provider.
Right.
And I don't know if somebody was out there on the boat and dropped the coin and the fish saw it and ate it, and now Peter catches fish. I don't know. I'm taking some liberties here.
Yeah.
But I know that if there's a need, God is a provider.
Mm-hmm.
He names himself that. Jehovah Jireh, look to me as your provider.
Right.
So if I look to him as my provider, then whether it be business or marriage or raising kids, I'm asking him to provide for me.
Yeah.
And so in business, I think God provided for me really well. But I think we also have to stay faithful. We can't just show up and ask one time. A guy named Jabez. Have you heard of the prayer of Jabez?
Mm-hmm.
Lord, if you will bless me and increase my borders and basically make me bigger than what I am, then I'll worship you. I'm like, well, that sounds backwards to me.
Yeah, it's conditional.
Yeah. How about Lord, I'm going to worship you. And if you choose to bless me at the end of this and grow my kingdom or my borders, then great. But it sounds to me like Jabez showed up and says, if you provide all these things for me, then I will call you my God. And I took the reverse of that.
Yeah.
So if my business fails, I still got
God. Yeah.
If my relationships fail, if anything fails, if my health fails, if my mind fails, because the only thing in us eternal is our spirit.
Right.
I was walking through the yard yesterday, bringing the trash can down. And then when I turned to look back, it was overcast and it was a little bit of lightning. And I like the calm before the storm. And I'm looking out over the house. We just finished building a new house.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished mowing, and I'm like, I'm happy with this little piece of dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, Lord, this truly isn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bringing dirt to heaven, even though I like real estate. And you say, well, I'm going to leave it to my kids. Well, one day I'm going to be dead, my kids, my grandkids, everybody else will be dead. Mm-hmm. The dirt's still going to be here. We don't truly own the piece of property. Maybe the courthouse says we do, so we pay some taxes on it.
Yeah.
We're just stewards of everything that God has, whether it's a piece of real estate, whether it's a checking account, a business, a family. You and I are just stewards of what God has provided. And if I spend more time worrying about the provision and not the provider, then we start building some gap between us. Then I find myself in that lukewarm position of, I don't really feel God. It seems like I was closer to God months ago or years ago because I think we get our own the provision. And it's important to take care of it, especially when you got a whole busload of kids. They take your time.
Yes.
And it's mandated that you do it and you do it well. And you have to be the provider. Just as God provided for you, you have to provide for your family. So it takes our time, but there's things about us taking care of what God's given to us. Place in there where God says that they have kind of forsaken God and they've worshipped the creation instead of the creator. Yeah. And I think creation for us is that we've created businesses, we've created families and other things, and we spend so much time up to here on them that we it's distracting from the creator, not the creation.
That's so good. That's like, I don't know, I'm getting so emotional, but like, I don't know if you notice, like when you're in business, there's so many cheerleaders. You're doing so good, you're doing so good, you're doing so good. Right. They don't even see the struggle.
I'm driving home crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to make payroll this week. And
Right.
we've had people go bankrupt on us, leaving us with $60,000, $70,000 bills. And they call out, or you get a letter. Hey, this person is chapter whatever, 11, 13, whatever it is. I'm like, well, that's 80 grand we're not going to collect.
Right. And that's crazy.
Well, then you got to go back and decide, okay, how can we tighten the budget? Well, we're not getting, this old company vehicle that's on its last legs. We have to get a set of used tires on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're looking at expanding or growing, or hey, now it's time for end of the year evaluations, and most employees deserve a good evaluation, but I'm gonna have to give them a 1.5% raise when they probably earn 5 or 6.
Right.
Because somebody skipped out on us on big money.
Yeah. And it's so like reassuring to sit down with somebody who's gonna cheer you on, but they're gonna give it to you straight. And like I feel like everything you're saying is for me. It's not like, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna get a lot of value out of this, but like this is things that I don't have anyone to actually talk about, if that makes sense.
Everybody needs, I'm not at a stage of a fine polish that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I still have mentors.
Yeah.
I had lunch with a guy last week that he's actually a couple years younger than I am. It doesn't have to always be the super old guy. If it is, cool. But this guy's actually 4 or 5 years younger than me. But spiritually, he's ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I go to him and I talk spiritual health.
Yeah.
Deep rabbit hole conversations on sanctification and justification and why. And why you got Calvinism says this, and then you got these other early church fathers that say that. And most of that just turns into, we're going to bust all these churches up, make different denominations. Everybody can get along. But he is a great spiritual mentor to me. I've got another guy who's like 50-50. He's a great spiritual mentor, but he's been a business leader for 40 years.
Yeah.
And so I'll go to him and go, hey man, I'm aggravated at accounts payable and accounts receivable and clients, and we've been told for years that the client's always right, and that's not even accurate at all. And so how do I handle the disgruntled client who's also making my employee disgruntled? I got to live with the employee, the client. At some point, I'm gonna have to choose between these two. Do I want to lose the employee because I cowered to the client who was truly not right? And then so he gives me good business advice.
Sound advice, yeah.
But all business advice he's ever given me is weighed in accordance with biblical principles.
Yeah.
And so Brian and I, the whole time that we were together going into Business Health Partners and building it to what it is today, is he and I, usually, if you talk to most attorneys, they say, oh, we're going to start this business. It's going to be a partnership. They kick up one eyebrow and they go, partnership? And they're saying is a partnership is a sinking ship because it's no different than a marriage. It's concessions, and I'll concede to this, and this is going to be your lane. This is going to be mine. Let's don't cross lanes. Let's work this thing together, parallel, at the same speed. So God really, really put he and I together with this. Man, I love that dude like you can't imagine, because we've never fought over business. We've had, I think we should do this in this direction really fast. And he says, no, I think we should go this direction really slow. But we weigh it based on biblical principles and sound business advice from other business owners. And we've never got to the slamming doors and sending ugly emails back and forth to each other. Yeah. I've conceded on some things. He's conceded on some things. Yeah. And so it's worked well because we just chose day one, we're going to operate this on sound biblical principles. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So like, what if you're in it and then you realize, man, I didn't have really good biblical principles at the beginning because I didn't understand. I just knew I need to work hard. I need to do the inputs. And now I'm kind of where I'm at today.
Yeah, I've seen people do that, and they feel like
they're trapped.
I'm already in this situation. How to get out of it? And it's quick, easy advice. That stop doing it that way and start doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it from a salvation process. Like we got somebody, and man, they've really heard the word of God, and the Spirit's moved on them. They say, hey, I need to, we use the word repent. And repent means change your ways.
Right.
Stop doing that and start doing this. And so if I can repent from a very sinful nature and then start trying to live a Christ-centered, Spirit-led life, then how come I can't do the same thing business-wise?
So it's all about, it goes back to stewardship, which is what you're saying.
I think so.
And there might be some decisions that you have to make that might be tough.
Because I know some other business owners that maybe the business isn't shady, but some of their practices on how they make it successful. And, the whole thing, especially, I don't know if it's just Southwest Louisiana. I've never owned a business, further out of the I-10 oil and gas corridor. But I see some of these business deals, and my uncle told me this years ago, most businesses handled on the golf course. There's a lot of accuracy to that. And while I don't find anything that obviously golf and hobbies are just mundane things. They're not holy, but they're not profane. They're just smacking a ball with a club or whatever hobby you particularly like, as long as it's not something that's, simple. But a lot of these business deals turn into, hey, well, meet me at one of the local, establishments. I want to call everybody out. And it starts off with a few drinks and this and that. Then it turns into more than that. Then it turns into, hey, I'm going to slide you a few bucks. I want this next bid or I want this next job. And while some of them may not outright slide you an envelope with $100 bills in it, you get invited to the no cost to you. I'm going to bring you on this trip, or here's a couple of tickets to this or that. And it's thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gifts. And once you operate your business that way for years, how do you now go to the client and go, hey, I can't do that anymore? These people are going on free vacations, free flights, or free vehicles and bass boats. I've seen some significant dollar amount or values exchanged for contracts.
Man, that's something. I like what you said about how some people do business, because when I first got started in school photography, it was a very interesting business. But thankfully, there's been a lot of younger guys coming up as principals, and they're recognizing, hey, man, that's how they used to do it. But I think we need
that good old boy mentality. Can be the kiss of death. Which I want the friendliness of, I know about the client, I know what their needs are, and then you get to become friendly with that guy. And I've got some good friends now that we just started out as they were a client, I was a service provider, and then after a while, you're finding out that, oh man, I'm sorry I can't meet you this afternoon. My daughter's getting married, and it just has to be a week or so from now. And then the conversation next week is, so how'd the wedding go? Oh, it was this and that, or you start learning a little bit about the person. And before long, I think I'm a relatively friendly person, and so I'm interested in, hey, how are you doing? And tell me about the daughter that got married, and then a year or two later, oh, they had a kid. Well, what'd you name this kid? And man, we start making friends because that's biblical.
Right.
Show yourself friendly. Golden rule. And so if I develop that friendship, because we met originally just as business associates, now I have more at stake in friendship than I do in the business. I've got guys now that we don't have a client-vendor relationship anymore. And they've changed jobs, or I've changed jobs, we've done something, and I'm still friends with those guys. And so that's more important to me than I'm gonna slide this guy, a few $100, or here's the season tickets to the game, and here's the tickets to go bring your family to wherever on vacation. Those aren't real relationships.
I agree with you 100% on that, because I'm thinking most of the really good relationships that I have are from people that I kind of just did life with. You know, it wasn't like, oh, we had this awesome financial transaction or we had this thing. You get to know, I got to know them as a person. I got to know their family. Maybe we've hung out together. Our families have hung out together. And sometimes there's no financial exchange, but they're still just like amazing people. And they bring value in different ways. Yeah, because I have a friend. She lives in Austin. She's a photographer, and she's in pretty much the Canon Hall of Fame. She's one of their like Canon influencers, and I help her teach her class. I help her assist her when she teaches a class at a trade show we go to together. And when she moved from Jersey to Austin, we all met up, both families, at Waco, and went saw Chip and Joanna Gaines'
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see Vanessa, that's her name, off of stage as just a mommy, and she's running around holding our kids. So we're at trade shows in Dallas. You know, I'm speaking at that, and she's speaking at that, and she's like, "Let me hold your baby," and you and Chelsea go walk around, and it's not weird. And like kids are like, "Is that Aunt Vanessa?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll just call her Aunt Vanessa." You know,
Everybody down there gets the aunt and uncle.
yeah. So it's cool. Like when you said that, it immediately made me think of people like her, which we've had no financial exchange, but it's just. And we used to ride Peloton together because she would ride her bike. Hey, I'm gonna ride. You want to ride? And it was all good, you know. And I think I've sometimes I can't. What did they say? You can't see the forest
For the trees.
for the trees. I think I get caught in that a lot because, like we were saying earlier off camera, sometimes we were with 10 or 1, right? And I'm guilty, and I can see that in my son too. He's just like me. He's either all in or he don't want nothing to do with it, and I need to be more like cognizant, I guess, of those things.
Well, especially when you're, I think a couple of days ago, Dr. James Dobson died.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's written tons of books, but he wrote one years ago called Raising Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was probably, I don't remember, 5, 6 at the time. And I'm thinking, it's like, I want this guy to have the best of the attributes that I think are good attributes in me and 0 of the rest of them.
Too bad it don't
I've
work.
never raised a boy before.
Yeah.
I've been raised. I had a great dad, but still flawed because every one of us are. And I'm like, I want this guy, and from a dad's standpoint, your biggest goal is I want to raise young people who turn out better than me.
Amen.
And it's not that I think I'm fractured and falling apart. I mean, I've got fractures, as we all do, but I want to take whatever fractured me and teach my children how to avoid the pitfalls.
Yeah.
Some we can and some we can't. Life is still what it is. But I bought that book, Raising Boys. I mean, as I read it, I'm like, if my dad would have known this, some of my fractures would have been here. Now, these aren't ones that sunk the ship.
Yeah.
But still, what's the other old saying? Death by 1,000 cuts.
Oof. Yeah.
And so it's like you can have 1 or 2 significant failures, significant raising a kid, and now you've crippled that kid. Or you can have 10,000 minor things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recognized that I was doing a whole bunch of the minor things. Read this book, I'm like, hey, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I like anything, you do really good at it for a few months or a few years, and then you find yourself, I have to go touch up. I got to go read chapter 4 again.
Yeah.
Because for 2 reasons. The kid's a little older, it's new issues, and I tend to forget some of it or not prioritize it as well as I did when I first read it.
Yeah. And I feel like as a young kid, like some of those things that you wish your parents would have did, you're like hypersensitive to them. So like if I get onto my kid and to be a little bit too emotional about it when I'm getting onto him, I usually find myself coming back and be like, look, I was kind of in the heat of it. I don't want that to scar you in any way. Like this is what I was trying to portray. And my dad did that once with me and it stuck with me. And it felt so good that I was seen and heard. I know I messed up, but he came back and he's like, look, man, it really frustrated me what you did, da-da-da-da. And he probably doesn't even remember it, but it was such a major thing for me. Like there was so much growth from that one interaction.
My dad is a normal man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he doesn't always, get it right. Like that was the thing, like, oh, he's not perfect. Because like my kids, they kind of make me laugh. They're like, oh, Dad, it's okay. If you can't fix it, Pawpaw can. That's what they always say.
So it's difficult parenting adult children.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Like, I can only imagine what goes through my dad's head. Because like Roman,
What about it?
yeah, Roman is wanting to grow his hair out. I'm like, well, you're gonna get my age and you're just gonna start getting thin. And I was like, just grow it out now while you're young. Because you never know when you get older, you might get a job or you can't do that, or you have to keep a certain image. I said, and then Roman sent out a little birthday invitation, and then he had some things he wanted. And then my mom sent a text and said, Dad said he'll pay for his haircut. And I was like, that's Papa's little jab at you need to get a haircut. And he was like, no, I don't want to cut my hair. I was like, you don't have to cut your hair right now, bro. Just grow it out and do what you want. It's changed. Like back in the day, everybody's clean cut, shave.
That's it. You were supposed to wear your Sunday best to church,
Right?
Tied.
Yeah.
And so, I'm right at that age, I guess, where I'm close to being a boomer, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me sometimes thinks that way, and then I see a younger generation not doing it that way, but still excelling and still doing well at it. And I'm like, well, maybe the suit and tie isn't mandatory to the presence of God.
Yeah. So, good. Man, I thank you for your time, man. Like, this conversation has been off the charts.
Well, you know that these kind of conversations you can do in stages, and there's no end to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than having a spiritual conversation about whatever, Book of Matthew.
Yeah.
You can't wrap that up in 15 minutes.
No.
You can get snippets.
Right. That's 15 years. Yeah. There's so much goodness in there. And you have just so much, like, this morning I was learning about wisdom, right? So wisdom is first you get truth, then you understand, then you get understanding, then you get the assimilation of both. And that's where your wisdom comes. And you just have such a wealth of that wisdom.
It's borrowed from other people.
Yeah. I just read a book, me and Chelsea, called Still Like an Artist. And it's about this guy from Austin. His name is John Cleon, or I think that's his name or something. Austin Cleon or something like that. But he talks about it's research when you're an artist. You look at Da Vinci, you look at this guy, and you take all those ideas and you make your own. It's only plagiarism when you take it from one person and you try to copy it.
Yeah.
So
you pass it off as your own.
Right.
So it's like, I don't have any wisdom. All I have is borrowed from hundreds of other people.
Yes.
Packaged up into how I present it.
Man.
But still like to see student. Still need some improvement.
Oh, man. If you're a C student, it stands for clutch. Because, man, you gave me so many nuggets today. And I'm so happy that I came to that men's group and we were sitting in Terry's office. And
well, it's like we grew from 4 or 5 guys in the little office, and then we started doing it at my house because of the plenty of parking in the outside area and all that. Then we didn't necessarily outgrow that. I mean, there's always, obviously plenty of parking there and seating and all that. But what kind of drove me away from doing it at the house was weather. Mm-hmm. So, summer 11 months out of the year, mosquitoes.
You're right about that.
Have Bible study, and you can only spray so much DEET on you to keep mosquitoes off. Then it was either way too cold, way too hot. And so now how we typically do it is we have 2 or 3 a year at my house. And those are typically like, because the men's group is just men's group. And you don't bring no female here.
Right.
It's dudes. But a couple times a year we'll do, hey, let's do a crawfish boil or just some random something. So you can bring all the families. Because I tell you, the first time we started doing it at the house, we got 8 or 10 guys there. These are some guys that haven't always been in church. It's like, our goal here is to make your husband a better husband. Mm-hmm. Not me making them, the Word of God.
Yeah.
If they submit to the Word of God, they're going to be a better husband, they're going to be a better dad.
Yeah.
And when the females saw that, because we did the family event, then they were like, oh, yeah, you're going. You're going next week.
Yeah. Chelsea's pretty good at that. And if I'm on the phone with a client, or we're on a 3-way with the client, or a speakerphone with a client, and I'll be like, okay. And she was like, say thank you and hang up. She's like, say thank you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Bye. And then the person's like, no. She said, just tell them it's okay. Goodbye. And she's very skilled at it, like you. Me, I'm just like, Okay.
I was on the phone twice a day, like business related stuff. And I was like, hey, you've helped me so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, I think that's the opportunity for most people to want to kind of get a little hug over the phone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's 14-year.
People will take yes for an answer.
Yeah. You've already sold me. Stop selling.
Just take my money and
Yeah. Yeah. But if you sign up today, you'll get this. Okay, but I'll also throw in this. The other day, I was watching this thing, and it was one of those things that I went to 10. I was 0 or 10, so I started learning about leads. And I was like, oh, I'm fully saturated my mind with everything lead gen. And I got books. I've been reading all these leads, offers, money models. Like, I've been following. And Chelsea's like, are you listening to him more than you're listening to God? And I was like, am I? And she was like, you're always reading that book every time I see you. I was like, but my Bible's right here. I do that one first. And then I go read this one. And she's like, yeah, but are you working on that or not? And then he had a live. I said that he had a live on Saturday. It was supposed to be like 2 hours. The thing was 9 hours.
Oh.
I was like, I got to go. Like, you got an hour and a half. And he said some good stuff in it, but at the end, it was just like a fundraiser. Yeah. You know, I think he had broke a Guinness record of selling the most copies of his book. So the whole plan was, okay, I have this book launch. The book is free, but if you're a business owner, you can buy 200 of these books, and I'll give it to people who need it. And then his goal was to break the record of the most sold nonfiction books, and that wasn't by a politician. And that day he sold, I'm going to say $72 million worth of books. It just kept the live going. And I was like, dude, we got to turn this out.
Yeah. No end game for you.
No end game. So next day, guess what happened? He went live again.
Of course.
Because he had 24 hours to, I think he was just trying to solidify.
Just 3 more.
Yeah. And I thought that was so funny. And he was talking about how he spent so much money to promote it, to get so many people to show up. I think he said he spent $4 million on advertising.
It's crazy.
But he made 72. And I was like, and I started finding myself really like, oh my gosh, I need to keep learning so I can get there. And then Chelsea mentioned it to me. And now anytime I pick up something, I feel a spirit of conviction. Yeah. So this morning I was trying to listen to something and I felt it. And I was like, oh no, I can't listen to that. Or I can't watch that. Or I can't read that. And it happened last night too. I tried to pick up that little purple book I was reading, and I put it down. I had to grab Chelsea has these spiral ring set of Bibles. So it's like the one I have right now is poetry. Poetry is Psalms and Proverbs. So every day I read a proverb. I just do the one a day. That's like my core reading plan. And then I'll kind of let the Holy Spirit lead me on other stuff. And thankfully, you said a lot of stuff today, so I'm going to be incorporating some more of these reads.
I'll tell you, it's what God has kind of nudged me about is quit finding something to study to deliver to other people.
Oh, man, that's so good.
And I don't mean quit like don't do that anymore, but quit exclusively trying to find something just to create a study for the guys on Wednesday night. He's like, well, why are you and I not? Why are you not studying about me just for you? Mm-hmm. There's room you need to fix and grow. There's some truths that you haven't quite mastered yet or got to. Yeah. But you're just taking it, packaging it up to put in front of 10 or 12 guys.
Right. We've become too much of the provider and not receiving the provision.
What he's got to give it to somebody else and not feeding off of it enough myself.
Yeah. Man.
But on the flip side, all mankind or men have similar needs. Mm-hmm. No matter what side of the globe you're from, we'll have need of salvation. We have need of fellowship with God. We have to understand that every guy next to me is my neighbor. Mm-hmm. I should treat them accordingly. So if God is dealing with me on that, then it seems like it would be my responsibility to share that with other people as well. Yeah. But I was kind of going the route of, what's a good topic for these people? And it's a little bit of this podcast and a little bit of Bible reading, a little bit of something, make sure I've got at least 2 or 3 scriptures to back it up. So we're not just in there having a conversation. And not learning a whole lot about it in the process. The other guys getting some form of spiritual nourishment, and me still not really. It's like cooking for somebody else and not eating the food.
Yeah. Oh, man. But sometimes, when you said that, sometimes you be cooking all day and you just be tasting. And then you can't eat.
There's a little truth to that.
Yeah, so I agree with you.
That actually makes me feel better about it.
Yeah. You're like, I've been tasting it all day.
That's true.
So I'm just not that hungry right now. But then you'll be starving later by midnight.
Well, the thing is,
you could go find the leftovers.
Like, I'm always full.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think in the natural.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time I've been hungry?
That's true.
Always. If I think I'm about to get hungry, I'm going to open the pantry and look. Do I want an apple or strawberry, or do I want a oatmeal cream pie?
Yeah.
Because I got both options.
Yeah.
And then we typically plan most of our days, okay, I got to do this because lunchtime is here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to do a few things because then dinner time. Then almost. And so I think, and this is maybe mostly Western mentality, and I know not everybody falls into the same group, but most of us eat more than what we really need, especially if you compare to other societies and nations where, the obesity rate in America is higher than any other nation. And we say, I'm hungry. No, you're not. You're bored.
Yes.
You're not truly hungry. But I think the last time I've had like hunger pains, like, oh man, it's time to stop what I'm doing and go eat. That's probably been months.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we think of my natural snacking all day long, it's not healthy for the flesh. What if I'm spiritually snacking all day long?
Mm-hmm.
When people talk, when I go to bed and I'm going to pray about this tonight, why not offer a 3-minute prayer right now?
Right.
And why not have a little 30-second admiration of God and, well, you've been so kind to me.
Right.
Just because the thought ran through my mind about the things that God's done that I don't necessarily deserve, but He's chosen to be very gracious to me in spite of me.
A praise break.
A praise break. So all day long, instead of, the old school, got to get on my knees in front of my bed and my Bible opened up and have a long drawn out prayer, which I'm not against that. That's a good way to start your day.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I'm going to do that and then wait, 18 more hours till bedtime and do the same type of prayer? Why not all day long?
Yeah.
Just
because some of those heroes of faith, they say they walked with God. God was always part of every decision.
Pray without ceasing. I think that just means lead a prayerful life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like
I'm going to use some of that tonight.
Yeah.
It's a 90 group one.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I'm definitely coming tonight. And it's going to be on overflow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be there. I'm glad we had this conversation today.
Good talk.
Yeah, because it's things that just open my eyes. Things that you think are okay, but like you just don't think. I guess it's you just get busy with the everyday of life. I gotta make sure this is done, I gotta make sure this is done, I gotta make sure this happens. And
you gotta fit 25 hours worth of stuff into a 24-hour day.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And especially when kids are the age of your kids. So it's like at my stage now, it's empty house syndrome.
Yeah.
We built a new house. We built a 2-bedroom house.
That's smart.
Why I got to build a big old house? It's just me and my wife.
Probably got big space to entertain.
Big living room.
Yeah.
With a big dining room table that seats 10.
Yeah.
In the process of making a table. It's not ready yet. I got the bench made. I don't have the table.
Sleeper sofa.
Yeah.
There you go. Y'all want to stay? Everybody. There we go. That's it.
It's like my time is much less constrained now. Because I'm not raising kids. I'm not raising grandkids. Career path has peaked and on its way down.
Yeah.
I would consider myself semi-retired at this point.
But you're kind of like Jordan. You might come back wearing the 4-5.
You have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
I'm trying to turn over the real estate stuff that we've been doing for a few years. Here's how I quit it. You know, the mama line and the cub.
Mm-hmm.
She teaches them how to hunt, and she'll go and she'll snatch, but she don't kill the
Mm-hmm.
critter. She just gets it to the point where it can't run away,
Mm-hmm.
and now she makes the little ones finish the job.
Right.
And so we think if you're, you know, your son's interested in the videography point and all that, you can't go do it for him.
Right.
You put some opportunities in front of him, you put some gear in front of him, and some instruction. He has to do that.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing that with the kids for the last 6 or 8 years. Because I'm in a partnership with Brian, and with legally and common sense wise, all that, he and I can't throw both of our kids in the middle of all that. Now you've got this fiasco. So what Brandon and I've done the past 10 years or so, we've taken our money out of the BHP process, our payroll type stuff, and we've tried to take it, instead of just Brandon and Stacy money, we opened a couple of LLCs and there's some real estate, and we're going to turn it into family money.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? I say why. I mean, there's personal, preference here, but I don't want to be living well and doing well financially and seeing my kid. Well, I say, hey, let's all go on vacation next week. And like, I got 3 days of PTO, and if I miss work, I'm not going to be able to make the electric bill. And I'm sitting over here with plenty of money. I'm like, well, I can't enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
all the fruit of our labor over the past 40 years if my kids can't come, or maybe some, at this point, even grandkids. And so we started taking that money, putting it into real estate, trying to grow the real estate. And now we kind of divided it for both of the adult children, and Brandon and I are each 25% owners of one of the LLCs.
Mm.
So we didn't just hand it over to them. Yesterday, on Monday, my son was at the marina working on the dock. I'm going back tomorrow. I got some stuff in the back of my truck right now that I picked up at the hardware store.
Yeah.
So he and I are going tomorrow. We're going to work on the dock and the boat landing. My daughter is doing the finances and the taxes. And so they're learning. So at some point I can hand the keys of it over. And I don't need it. I don't need the finance
Mm-hmm.
coming back to me. It's like here. But once it matures and they're doing well with it, it helps their finances. And so now we're more financially peers.
Yeah.
Instead of, mom and dad worked for 40 years and they're over here and our career's new and we're raising kids and, braces for everybody and prom dresses. And
Yeah.
it's hard on a young couple finances.
Yeah.
Even if you've got good jobs.
Right.
And my daughter and her grandpa, they both have good jobs. But when you start raising twins or just kids in general,
In general,
it
yeah.
takes a lot of money.
Right. And then I feel like the approach you're taking to it makes them way better stewards of it because they had to earn it.
That's it.
It's like, oh, we'll just wait till Pop dies and we'll get it all. Yeah. So many people have that mentality, though. I'm just going to wait till and then I'll just inherit it all and then I'll be fine. But that's not realistic.
The thing is, if you're going to wait the parents out, what if the parents live to 80 and now you're 55? Typically, if you've had a decent career path for 30, 40 years, once you get 50, 55, parents pass away, you don't need that as much as you needed it when you were raising kids and trying to buy vehicle insurance for a 17-year-old and braces for a 14-year-old.
Right.
You and I, every man raising kids, having a family, we needed most of our finances when our skill set was the least.
100%.
So
100%.
I explained it to my kids this way. Instead of y'all having a struggle through your 20s and 30s and finally maybe getting your head above water in your 40s, and then in your 50s, dad dies and leaves you a little bit of money, how about I give you a bite of the inheritance apple before I die? I'm not giving you the whole apple.
Yeah.
But I'll take some of that business money, turn it into family project. We'll all work on it together, and as it increases, because right now they both take a salary out of
the LLC. I gotcha.
It's a very small salary.
Oh yeah, but
it's a supplement. It's not, neither one of them can live off of it.
Yeah.
It's the business pays for everybody's cell phone, which that helps.
Right.
Anytime you do a trip or whatever, fuel comes out of it. They each draw a weekly draw out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's a certain project, like my son's working on the dock, I would have to pay somebody to work on the dock. Why would I take money that should be family money and send it to a stranger when the family can do it? You keep that money in house.
Right.
And I'm not against paying people to do things. There's some things that we can't do. We have to pay other people for.
Right.
But things that we can do, why would I pay somebody $400 to go mow the grass up there? I can send my kid to do it for $3.
Mm-hmm. And it's just staying in the pot.
It's less than what the other guy wanted, and it stays.
Yeah.
You know, I think of it as like you got 4 pockets on your pants. If you've got $100 divided among 4 pockets, you still have $100, even though only one pocket has 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want, I want as little money as possible coming out of the company
Mm-hmm.
and going to other people.
Keeping it floating. Yeah, that's so smart. Because that effort's going to go right back into it. And nobody's going to work as hard for it as the people who are in it. Yeah.
And with the business, there's some debt. Obviously, you know,
It's real estate.
nobody gave us real estate.
Yeah.
And so you got to service your debt, and you've got taxes, and you've got all kinds of fees and utilities. And so all that comes out first, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's left over, the kids get to draw. My wife and I, we don't draw any money out of it.
Gotcha.
So as it builds up value, and as you handle the debt, and once you clear debt up, these kids ought to be able to draw a significant amount of money out of each month.
Yeah.
Probably not as much to offset a career, but when you're late 20s, early 30s, and the kids need braces and car insurance is up, man, being able to make a couple grand a month out of the business, you can't live off of it, but it's a heck of an incentive to work in family business.
I photographed a young man from Iowa, and his family owned a crawfish business. I think it was called Bayou Rouge Crawfish. I don't know, you might know the family. But the dad was talking to me, and I was like, yeah, so you got a crawfish business? He's like, yeah, well, I'm actually a realtor, and my other brother does this, and then I do this, and our dad started this crawfish business, but it's just something that we all kind of chip in and do, and they kind of had it set up like that. But they were, they're having kids who are graduating high school now. So it's cool to hear you say what you're building, and it was cool to see those guys. And they got so much land, and he was teaching his 18-year-old son, turn on the thing, and I'm taking pictures of him for his senior picture, flooding the fields and things like that. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And he's doing the crawfish thing. And that was his senior pictures, him working with his dad. And then he went to the baseball field and did some regular ones. But the ones that really meant something to him were the ones on the family property.
More to his dad.
Yeah, in the marsh with his gun. Like, they used to hunt out there. He had his dog. And just an incredible family. So
here's what I've heard about legacy. We use the word legacy all the time. Versus an inheritance. An inheritance is something that's passed down to you.
Mm-hmm.
A legacy is something that you pick up and move forward.
Man.
So it's like when my parents passed, they had an average house in an average neighborhood. There was no debt on it, but they didn't really have anything else.
Yeah.
And so that house, my brother and I sold it. We split it. And so I got an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't all that much. Like I say, it was an average house, average neighborhood. And then when you split that in half between a sibling, that's not life-changing money. Mm-hmm. It's just, and I was, I don't know, mid-50s at the time, early 50s, probably early 50s at the time. I didn't need the money. It wasn't like, oh, my vehicle's in the shop and I can't get it out until I get this, or the roof fell off the house. I didn't need it. It was just an inheritance.
Yeah.
I took it and bought a piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a big fan of Toledo Bend. When we were kids, we were up there on weekends and started out in tents fishing, and we bought a little camper. But he loved fishing. He loved the lake. And I was kind of raised up there on weekends.
Yeah.
My brother and I both have very, very fond memories of growing up on the lake. So when my family was younger, we'd go up on weekend, had a little RV, pull it up there, park it for the weekend. My kids really liked it. And so what I was telling my kids when my dad passed, or, several months after, and we, sold the house, I'm like, here's what I'm thinking, guys. I want to buy or build us a camp at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And so the money from dad is not enough, but it's a good start. And so maybe it'll buy us a piece of property. I want to add some more money to it, build us a camp, but a family camp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be up there for the kids to go.
Right.
It's 3-bedroom camp. Abby and her family have a bedroom. Hayden and his family have one, and then we have one.
Mm-hmm.
If we all want to go up together, and for whatever reason, Labor Day weekend, cool. But if you and your wife, Hayden, just want to go up for the weekend, it's a family camp.
Gotcha.
But when I'm dead, it's still a family camp. We actually put it into an LLC, a lot like a trust.
Right.
Because now my grandkids have been up there more than my kids have,
Mm-hmm.
and they love it. And over the years, as they build memories, and hey, we were fishing and riding in the boat and doing all these things, we're building a legacy.
Yeah, I like that.
And when I die, it's not getting sold and turned into an inheritance. My kids will grab it and move it forward. And if the Lord tarries, my grandkids will be 30, 40 years up there looking at old photos on the wall when they were this big, and I was standing next to them with their fish.
Yeah.
And so that turns into more of a legacy than an inheritance.
Yeah, because like they try to pitch you the timeshare, right? So I love the way that you set your own family like legacy share.
Yeah.
That's so smart.
But we put it in an LLC for tax
reasons,
and also to keep one of the kids, either of the kids, from wanting to divide it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got it so that the property can't be sold once I die, because I'm the executor. Once I die, it can't be sold. Even if both of them say we want to sell it, it's not yours. It belongs in the trust. You don't own it. You just have usufruct.
Mm-hmm.
The only caveat for can it be sold is if one of my kids is in bankruptcy.
Gotcha.
But you can't. One can't say to the other, well, we're going to have to sell it or I'm going to be in bankruptcy. You have to physically get to the point of being in bankruptcy. Then it can, first option, go to the other sibling. If they don't want it, then it can be put on the market and then to help you in your bankruptcy problems.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's a safety net for them. That's awesome. That's awesome. My dad, his family, they have some acreage up in North Louisiana, similar story, average house in the country, this big farming land, 100 acres. And there's 12 kids.
Yeah, sell it and divide it among 12.
Right. That's not going to go down too easy. Yeah, so literally I had 72 first cousins growing up, between my mom and my dad. So you figure at least 30 or 40 of them, it's from that side. So that 100 acres is literally, everybody's got,
postage stamp.
Yeah. And then we're all having grandkids now. But I think it's kind of like this, I guess they would do it by the head, right? Per capita, I guess. Or however I don't know how they would do it, but it'd be like, hey, this family has this. We're not as big as the 12 tribes of Israel, but we're getting there. So especially with the plots that they have. So it's good. Man, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. And I'll probably have to have you come back. So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is one of my good friends, Stacy. How can people find you, like online, if they want to interact with you, or how can they get
Facebook
page?
But I'm not a big online presence. I'll have Instagram and all that kind of stuff because I don't need a whole bunch of more friends. I'm good. I got one.
There we go. And if they want to get plugged into the Bible study, is that open?
If they go to Crossroads Moss Bluff, crossroadsmb.org.
Okay.
So Crossroads Church in Moss Bluff is where we host it at. If they have the Church Center app, we're listed on there. If they don't have the Church Center app, just go to crossroadsmb.org. Look for small groups. It'll give you, and if it's not just a men's group, if you've got, a youth group, if it's married couples, I think there's probably 9 or 10 small groups that meet on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and probably only half of them meet at the church.
Okay.
A lot of them are people's homes. Almost all of them, with the adults, have food.
Yeah.
And so sometimes everybody just takes turns. Our men's group, we always cook something. I tell them all, if you volunteer for food next week, you're not coming to pizza and boxed chicken. If you're going to volunteer, you're going to cook.
Cool.
Because real men like real food.
That's it.
Don't bring me no kid corn dogs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So the other groups, a lot of times, every family will bring a dish or something like that. But I think there's 9 or 10 groups. So every age, every genre of person, there's something that would fit each of them.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you, and I'm not going to say bye more than once.
No. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.